Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when I became Executive Secretary, Land Use and Allocation Committee, gave me a mandate which included 5 items. And the 5 items, number 1 on that list is getting rid of fake allocation letters, fake certificates of occupancy that were all over Lagos State as at that time. The second mandate was reducing the time of procuring documents and processing of documents. Because when I was appointed, it will take you a minimum of 3 months to get an ordinary letter of allocation and up to 1 year to get your certificate of occupancy. Not to talk of documents like governor's consent, various deeds, and so on and so forth. Thirdly, it challenged me on coming up with solution on securitization of our documents in a manner that when they are presented to any institution, maybe banking or otherwise, they will be recognized and taken as being authentic. That securitization of documents brought in the idea of electronic documentation management system. Electronic documentation management system, as time to be corrected, was introduced first in Lagos State, and it was done by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This had to do with the registry and all other areas that had documents. A fourth one, which at that time looked like an impossible task, is that they wanted to turn Lagos into a hub of construction going all over the place, a construction hub, sort of. And the last one, which again might interest you, and that will show the type of person Asiwaju was, and still is the fact that all this put together should bring prosperity to every home of all Nigerians living in Lagos State. Using his words, he said, "Ashafa, I want to unbundle the locked up potentials of land in Lagos State." I can never forget. So, to all intent and purposes, Lagos had been known, but at the time of Asiwaju's tenure as governor of Lagos State, Lagos assumed and remained up till tomorrow one of the lucrative states when you talk about added value on land, be it on property, entertainment, and so on and so forth. Now, if you look at his statement at that time on bundling, what it means is that the chain reaction of all those mandates, of all those points in the mandate, will translate into increase in employment, increase in the day-to-day activities of individuals in a manner that will make them be self-sufficient. And if you remember quite vividly, the period of 2001 to 2006 and before Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola took over from Asiwaju, there was something like a migration from all over Nigeria to come to Lagos. The issue of property development happened to be one of them. So we had that timeline constrained to a minimum of 3 months on the average to start with. But I must mention this. When Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola came in, he now cut that timeline to 1 month governor's consent period of time. It should not be more than 1 month. And he was the one now that now gave us, from one table to the other, how many hours an officer had to use before, unless if that application had a problem then. From the period of Asiwaju, from 6 months to 3 months, you can get your document at the end of the day, was now reduced as a result of the foundation laid by the idea and the mandate given to me by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What does all this translate to when you look at it? What he mentioned earlier. One, you will see that before the civilian government came in, those that were into property development, huge property development, estate development, were either the Chevrons of the world, the Shell of the world, UAC, and the rest of them who are big, players in the various industries. But he had another idea. He called me. He said we could give UAC 20 hectares, 50 hectares, 100 hectares, Chevron 50 hectares. If we talk about unbundling, let us encourage private developers that are local based. And that is the beauty of it. That is what you are seeing now. That foundation was laid by him, and this foundation became huge reality when Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola came in as governor. Asiwaju that I knew before he became governor always had this tenacity of purpose. He was a go-getter and dogged in his thinking. So many initiatives came to play, and those initiatives laid the foundation of what we are benefiting here now in Lagos State. I'm so humbled to say that I served with him, because he didn't like people saying they served under him. They would say, I served with him, even though at a middle level stage, but Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is a thinker, had that conviction, is a visionary, had that vision before he became governor. He knew where he was going in 8 years. He knew how it was going to happen, and that is what has translated to Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola SAN, Mr. Ambody, and now the governor of Lagos State, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and the good works that he's doing there. I am Senator Gbenga Ashafa, the former Executive Secretary, Land Use and Allocation Committee, former Permanent Secretary, Lands Bureau, Lagos State, two-term Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, covering Lagos East Senatorial District from 2011 to 2019. I left as the Permanent Secretary Lands in Lagos State in 2010 to run for politics. This is my Asiwaju story.